Dollywood, Cedar Point, Six Flags Great America, and Holiday World. What do all these parks have in common with? I'll tell you, they all have wing coasters. And these wing coasters are some of the best at their respective parks. These coasters also grab the attention of lots of GPs, which is not a bad thing at all. This explains why these coasters are some of the best in their parks and have the longest waits. Everyone loves wing coasters, enthusiast or not. The idea of not sitting on top or under the track but on the side of it is a very spectacular idea. And with this idea comes very good re-rideability. Now, not only you can get different ride experiences from the front of the train or the back, you can now get different ride experiences by sitting on the right side of the train or the left side of the train, basically forcing you to do it twice, which I'm always up for. Worldwide, there is 16 B&M wing coasters, but in America, there's only 4. Them being Wild Eagle at Dollywood, Thunderbird at Holiday World, Gatekeeper at Cedar Point, and X-Flight at Six Flags Great America. In today's video, we're not going to be ranking these machines, but instead talking about why they work so well at their respective parks, how they fit into their lineup, and why it made sense overall for the park to purchase one. So without wasting any more time, let's get started. To start off today's list, we are going to head down to Dollywood, down in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, where it is home to Wild Eagle, America's first B&M wing coaster. Wild Eagle opened up to the public in 2012, changing Dollywood as we know it, by putting a giant blue B&M on top of the hill in the middle of the park. Like Lightning Rod and other coasters located at Dollywood, Wild Eagle uses the cliffside as part of its lift hill. Now, why did Dollywood decide to put this in the park? It's easy. At the time, Dollywood needed a new standout coaster. And remember, Lightning Rod's not a thing yet. Something that everyone would love the ride, and something very thrilling too. Something most people haven't even seen before, hence the wing coaster. Wild Eagle was a perfect fit for Dollywood. How you glide over the Smokies, sightseeing the rest of the park from up above. This was a success for Dollywood, and it showed the rest of the industry what a wing coaster could do to their park. Next on the list for B&M wing coasters in America, we have X-Flight at Six Flags Great America in Gurnee, Illinois. Wild Eagle beat out X-Flight being the first wing coaster in America to open by 2 months, as this opened 2 months later. Although I'd say Wild Eagle is the superior ride out of the two, this one is still very good fun. It's themed to you flying a fighter plane, soaring over and around obstacles and the queue line down below. And I love the fact how this is probably the most themed coaster in all of the Six Flags chain. X-Flight is the smallest out of the 4 wing coasters, and it's also probably the most whippiest and snappiest one too. All the other wing coasters in America have big, floaty, drawn-out elements, which is very cool, but X-Flight takes them at a rapid pace. From beginning to end, it's element after element, and there's no stopping, which is pretty cool. It also kinda ties in with the theme of a fighter plane, how those are fast and intense. Same thing here on X-Flight. Also, X-Flight looks very stunning while walking through the pathways. It's one of those coasters you always just want to keep watching go through the layout. What riders and people that are walking the pathway love to look at is how X-Flight goes through that wing over drop, practically nosediving towards the pathway below. It is just as cool to look at it as to experience it. But by far, my favorite element on this ride is how you fly through this watchtower. You really feel like you're gonna hit it with your feet and arms. But why is X-Flight a good addition to Six Flags Great America? They needed a coaster that was unique, different than what the rest of the Six Flags Great America lineup had. So the B&M wing coaster was a perfect fit and addition to Six Flags Great America. There was nothing like it in the region. X-Flight up north, Wild Eagle down south. For our next edition, we hop on over to Ohio for Cedar Point in Sandusky, Ohio for Gatekeeper, their B&M wing coaster. Gatekeeper is the biggest out of the 4 wing coasters in the US, standing over 200 feet tall, making it a hypercoaster. Gatekeeper is probably the most majestic coaster out of the bunch, how it flies over the entrance 2 times. With this, Gatekeeper makes its presence known, and makes you want to ride it. With Gatekeeper being a hypercoaster technically, it also acts like one with that very long out and back layout, how you start on the complete other side than where you end up halfway through in the ride of the peninsula. Gatekeeper is the other B&M wing coaster with the wing over drop, just like X-Flight, how you turn over and plummet towards the ground. Gatekeeper is one of the most popular rides at Cedar Point, and it's not very hard to see why. When you're entering the park, this is the first coaster you see, and you are going to want to ride it. It also looks very appealing too. With the bright white supports and the sky blue track, this makes a stunning paint job for an awesome coaster. And the most important factor is the visual appearance. Flying through those keyholes is something that looks very terrifying, and also something you really want to do when you get to Cedar Point. It's also one of many icons of the park, as how Gatekeeper flies through the 2 keyholes located above the entrance. With Gatekeeper being the tallest, longest, and fastest wing coaster located in the US, you would think this is the best one, right? With lots that would agree, many would prefer the next coaster on our list that we'll get to in a little bit. Now, why was Gatekeeper added to Cedar Point? Everyone knows that Cedar Point is known for breaking records, and with the wing coaster, it was easier than ever. Insane records with a world-class layout and coaster equals one fantastic high-quality addition to Cedar Point. The last wing coaster in the US that we haven't talked about yet is Thunderbird at Holiday World in Santa Claus, Indiana. Arguably the best wing coaster in the world, and it is not very hard to see why. When you're driving up the Holiday World, most likely this will be the first coaster you see, a giant steel coaster with orange track. Thunderbird is completely different from all the other wing coasters in the US. Let me tell you why it feels like this. Thunderbird pulls off a very different vibe than all the other wing coasters. For example, its plaza. When you walk up the windy hill leading the Thunderbird, you have it right to the right of you launching by. It crosses over the footpath, making a nice interaction moment with guests. To the left of you, you have your free drinks, food, a bunch of picnic tables, and a gift shop for Thunderbird. This is easily the best plaza for any of the US wing coasters. Another thing that makes it so great and pulls out the vibes is its station. Its station is literally a barn, and it looks spectacular. It just keeps adding in onto the theme of Thunderbird. Also, Thunderbird's paint job is one of my favorite paint jobs on a coaster ever. That pumpkin orange on top of the brown supports just looks fantastic. And it's even better since it's located in the Thanksgiving area of the park. With all this, Holiday World had a real winner on their hands. Now, let's answer the question. Why did Holiday World want to put this in their park? Holiday World always needed a steel thrill coaster to go with the 3 awesome wooden coasters the park already has. And like Cedar Point, Holiday World likes to break records too. They have broken many records on their water slides, like how Zimbabwe is the world's longest enclosed water slide, or how they own 3 different water coasters. So Holiday World made America's first launch wing coaster, and I would say this is the best one. If you made it to the end of the video, thank you so much, and if you don't mind, liking and subscribing would greatly benefit the channel, so more people can see videos like this. This is Coasters Every Day, and I'll see you all later.